The brutal reality of the tech job market. How does an industry that once gave out a six-figure paycheck suddenly take careers away with one cold, impersonal email? This isn't just a headline. That's the brutal truth many are facing. It's an invisible guillotine, and if you work in tech, you need to know why you're standing under it. And I'll show you near the end the single tactical move that actually saved people from getting crushed. Some of what you've been told about AI creating millions of jobs. The story has actually a missing chapter. The cash didn't actually show up the headlines promised. The missing cash is what causes freeze-outs and layoffs. This gap is changing how companies hire and how they fire. Two people, same market, different results. Meet Rafi, a fresh grad. He thought his code was actually his golden ticket to live a comfortable life. But after sending out 30 resumes, his inbox is still empty. Not a single callback, and he's stuck in a loop of rejection. Then there's Sari, 10 years of experience, built products, led teams, and she thought she was safe, and her career was cut short not by a conversation, but by a chilling email. No manager call, no transition plan, just a few lines of corporate speak and a broken promise. What can you get from this? One can get experience, and the other one is told that their experience don't matter. Both are actually victims of the games that has changed without warning. And why is this happening? You've been sold a story of endless growth, but here are 4 brutal truths about why the tech job market is so unforgiving right now. AI hype doesn't equal to revenue. For many companies, the AI boom was actually all talk but no walk. They were actually investing hard in a technology that didn't generate immediate revenue, and now they're cutting costs just to compensate. Now let's take a look at Salesforce. Salesforce actually cut 4,000 customer support jobs, nearly half of their team, even though their AI agents were actually handling 50% of that customer interactions. And the company saw strong quarterly earnings and a 10% revenue uptick in the early 2025. But macro weakness hit the demand for other products, and the AI payoff still didn't cover it. So what can we actually get from it? Customers weren't actually paying extra just because a product was mentioned AI generated on it. So now those same companies were actually looking at their balance sheet, realizing that the cash isn't there, and they're cutting the cost to cover their gap. And the first cost they cut, the people. The second factor of this brutal truth is that conference-driven development. The industry got addicted to new and shiny technologies shown at conferences, leading to a bloated and inefficient code bases. These complex systems require a massive team to actually maintain, until their leadership realizes that they can actually do it with a much leaner team. Now let's take a look at Scale.ai. Scale.ai laid off 14% of its staff, about 200 generation AI people, because they actually admitted expanding this team too fast, creating inefficiencies and confusing layers across 16 Gen AI pods. Now they're just consolidating to 5 pods and aiming for profitability. That's what happens when there's too much hype and less code architecture. After all that chaos, the leader actually realizes that we don't actually need all of this. Just a leaner and a focused team could actually achieve the same thing. So now they're actually trimming the fat, cutting whole departments that were only there to chase trends and not vision. When Elon Musk actually fired 70% of its Twitter staff and the company didn't collapse, it sent somewhat of a powerful signal to other CEOs in the tech job market. They saw that they could actually do more with less, and their own bloated teams became targets. Before long, other big names actually followed and did the same thing. We're talking about Meta, Google, Amazon, and others pushed deep between the years of 2022 to 2024. Elon's action resets expectations for headcount and productivity expectations in tech. That moment gave permission to other leaders to start asking the uncomfortable questions. What if we're overstaffed too? What if we could run a leaner production system? And this ripple effect is quite huge. Companies that were once proud of their massive headcounts or employees are now competing to see how small they can be while still shipping products. And guess who pays the price for that experiment? That's right, the employee. The last factor we got to this brutal truth is that there is no more infinite money. The era of zero interest rate is actually over. Companies can no longer get cheap money to grow at any cost. Now I want you to take a look at Chegg. Chegg had to lay off 22% of its workforce. This is 248 jobs we're talking about, because AI bots like ChatGPT knocked 30% of its actual revenue and 31% of its subscribers. It's not just the tech hype. Economic reality actually destroyed their business model. Every hire has to be justified with the value they bring towards the company. But 2025 is a whole different ballgame. Interest rates are higher, funding is quite tight, and venture capitalists are no longer writing blank checks and giving it out easily. Every team, every project, every hire has to prove it's directly adding value. If you can't tie your work to revenue, efficiency, or retention, you're directly straight out of the company. That's why you're seeing lots and lots of massive cuts within this tech job market. It's not whether people are talented or that they've actually learned coding for quite a long time. It's about whether their work actually pays for themselves. Think of it like this. The job market isn't quite dying yet, but it's going through a development, or what you may call a transition phase. It's separating what we know as the chefs from the microwaves. A microwave can heat up a pre-packaged meal, and a chef can create something just from scratch. The industry right now where we're living in is cutting microwavable jobs and hunting for chefs. So now the question comes back to you. How do you become a chef in this new economy? This isn't about just hope, it's about a strategy. This is your playbook for surviving and thriving. And the first one that I'm going to give on the list on how you can survive and actually thrive is by building real projects. Don't just follow tutorials. I want you to build 3 real deployable projects. It could be a small web app, a useful API, or even a data analysis script. And what's the goal behind all of this? To have something an interviewer can use right now. And your README isn't just a summary, it's a one-page report of the project's impact. The next tip which I'm going to tell you is that you'll need to master AI-resistant skills. AI, what I must say, is a very powerful tool, but still it cannot replace human judgment. You'll need to actually focus on skills that requires deep thought and human interaction. Stuff like product design, system thinking, stakeholder communication, and program management. These are just some of the list. You'll need to learn them, practice them, and actually show them. This is how you become a chef, my friend. The next step is you'll need to actually network horizontally. Stop just applying online. You'll need to actually reach out to people to send. You'll need to actually send a targeted DM a week asking for a 15-minute feedback on your work or your script, not for a job. This is how you actually build real, genuine connection, not just lots and lots of resumes on pile. And the last one is you need to diversify your income. You can do freelance, take short contracts, or even sell a small product. Even covering 20% of your expenses with the side gigs gives you power. It gives you the confidence to say no to a bad job and wait for the right one to actually come out. So here's what I actually want you to do. So as the tech job market is actually quite dying right now, or moving through this transition phase, the next topic, what I'm about to cover, is actually your 30-game day plan. This is probably for those who's not having any jobs right now, or they're actually looking for experience. I don't want you guys to actually sit still and wait for the right opportunity to come, because like a saying, I once believed that opportunity only comes to you if you put into the work on what you've done when you're on idle mode, or when you're in this constant fragment of being stable and there's no ups or downs in your life right now. If you want immediate action, here's a plan you can actually execute in the next 30 days to build momentum. The first week, what I actually want you to do is build a small and a shareable project. And I don't want you guys to overcomplicate this. The goal isn't to make some big platforms like Amazon or Google. The goal here is to actually show that you can ship. Pick something that you can realistically finish in 2 or 3 weeks. Something quick, something fresh that gives value. Perhaps it's a Chrome extension that solves a small annoyance, or maybe a dashboard pulling data from a public API, or just maybe an automation script. We're talking about Slackbot or even Notion integration. And this, like I said, needs to be a deliverables. You can create a GitHub repo with a crystal clear README. Explain what it does and why it's useful, and how someone else can run it in 15 minutes. You can add screenshots, show the demonstration, or maybe even walk them through the loom. And I'm saying all of this is that recruiters and hiring managers actually love proof of execution. In cryptocurrency, we call it proof of work. Even though it's a small finished project, it can actually beat an unfinished big projects. Well, you can actually dream big, but keep it in a reality where you can actually show and present and how it can give value. In the second week, this is where I want you to get real feedback and not just likes. Stop waiting for people to magically find your work. You'll need to push it into the right hands. Make a list of 10 people, and this could be from your previous work. It could be your friends, family, or colleagues, to test your products and give meaningful feedback. You can also send it to engineers in your target role to test out your product. It could be through LinkedIn. Like I said, expand your network. Or actually people who post about dev's job recently. Or maybe a founder of a small startups that might use your tool. You'll need to craft a short DM. It has to be personal and not spammy. You could say something like, hey, my name is ... I built this tool or project to solve this specific problems. Could you spare me 10 to 15 minutes to give me an actual raw feedback? Even one line will help. The goal here isn't to actually get that job directly. It's to build awareness, a signal that you exist. And based on this feedback, you can actually improve your repo and also expand your networks. A few of those who actually remembers your name. And on the third week, you'll need to actually start applying for 3 contract roles on that same week, using your project links, testimonials you got from others in your application. You'll need to target 3 contract or freelance this week. So when I said target 3 contract or freelance this week, it's not just randomly applying on LinkedIn and clicking that easy apply button. You'll actually need to look up for roles on AngelList, Well-Found, or indie startup communities. Attach your Ripple link right in the first message. I recently built ... the project that you're working for, and it's similar to what you're looking for. Here's the Ripple link, and you will attach that link, and then in the next line, you can say, would you like chat? And I did mention the contract. Why not a full-time job, right? First of all, it's a lower risk for a company to test you out, and it actually gets you hired faster rather than just waiting months and months for a full-time job until your skill set is degrading down. And this contract job will allow you to build your reputation and also your portfolio. And the last final week is week 4. And this is where you need to show up where it actually matters. Visibility is half the game in my opinion. If no one sees your work, it doesn't really matter who you are. And I want you to join 2 niche communities where your skill matters the most. For examples, we got indie hackers, r/webdesk on Reddit, or some specialized Discord or Slack groups, such as AI builders, data engineering, and also front-end development. You'll need to commit yourself to actually posting twice a week. Give some progress updates maybe. Something like, I shipped version 2 of my Slack bot. And then you'll probably add the features and insert the repo link there. You can probably attach the lesson learned and give it like a storytelling narratives or a journey on what you actually found. You could say something on the lines of, tried 3 APIs that actually work, and here's what worked, this one failed, and this one was a nightmare. Something like that. The reason why I'm telling you all of this is that posting progress actually makes you visible as someone actively building. And the way our mind thinks is that when we actually have a lot of updates from that specific someone, people start to associate your name with action and not just talk. And that's how opportunities land in your inbox. So towards the end, what is my prediction on this brutal job tech market? And my prediction is the companies that treat AI as its helper and invest in their own employee is actually going to win or have that upper hand. The companies that see AI only as a measure to cut costs are gonna bleed talent, and they're eventually going to slow down. So here's a single action I want you to do right now. Don't just watch this, like legit, do it right now. And that's do something. Do something at the back of your mind after you finished watching this video. It could be a draft sketch of something that you want to build, or a blueprint, or actually something. Keep your brain actively focused, not on the bad narrative, but what you can actually do in this tough market. And then share this progress with me right now in the comment section below. Who knows, another person might actually reply to your comment and actually see the progress that you've actually made. And so yeah, that is my long narrative or thoughts on the brutal reality of the tech job market that is happening right now this year. And I'm very curious on which side of the company are you actually on? Is it the company that is investing on people and treat AI as its helper, or using AI and firing a lot of people right now? That's it from me. I hope my content brings a light to the unfair job market that is happening right now. I'm Maggie Steven, and I'm beginning to start discussing hard topics like this in our current job market. So if you want more videos like this, please give a like, comment, and also subscribe. I will highly appreciate it a lot. Let me know what videos or what job market you actually want me to cover up next. This is it from me. See you in the next one. Bye.